Hello, Jean Cregan in the Faith Formation Office with today's message. January is an interesting time of year, right? The last week in January when you'll be viewing this video. And it's about the time that maybe we're not living up to our New Year's resolutions, or come to the end of January, the weather is bad, there may be a blizzard on the horizon, right? So it's an interesting season in our lives. In the church year, the season is ordinary time, right? Um, so the weather's cold, the church is just celebrating ordinary time. It's sort of in between seasons, right? In between Christmas and Lent. And we're just coming off the holidays and the January New Year's resolutions. We're going to be a whole new us in 2022, right? And now we might be getting to the point where maybe we're not living up to that resolution, or maybe we haven't done as much as we had hoped. Interestingly enough, this idea of seasons, whether it be seasons, weather seasons, or seasons in the church, or seasons in our lives, is something that's kind of been resonating a little bit with me. In the fall, we did a prayer challenge, and one of the videos that the prayer challenge people watched was about choosing a season for prayer. In other words, when we create new prayer routines, the idea being that it's not that different than other routines, right? If we created a new routine in January because we were trying to lose weight or get more fit, and you have a gym routine, right? Um, you commit to it for a certain level of time before you decide if it's working. So this video that we watched as part of the prayer challenge called us to do the same thing with prayer. When we're looking to do something different in prayer, maybe commit to, or in our spiritual lives in general, however that might be. Maybe you don't attend Mass regularly, so you're going to attend Mass. Maybe you don't pray regularly, so you're going to try to institute a daily habit of prayer. Maybe you don't pray certain ways, so you're going to try and do that for a certain amount of time. Maybe you live in a life of constant noise, and you're going to try and spend a little bit of time in quiet, right? Any of those things can be ways that we're kind of growing in our spiritual lives. And the idea of the prayer challenge was to commit to it for a season. In other words, don't try it for a day and say that didn't work. But also don't commit to the fact that I've never prayed the rosary before, I'm going to pray it every day for the next 365 days. There should be a time in between, like a season. I'm going to commit to this for a month. Or right now, right, we're in between Christmas season and Lent, right? We're in ordinary time. So now would be the great time to make a commitment to something, to try and increase our spiritual life a little bit for the season, from now until when Lent begins. And then we can evaluate at Lent and say, yes, this is bearing fruit in my life, I want to continue, or no, this isn't. So during Lent, I'm going to change it, and this is how I'm going to change it. This idea of seasons, that everything's not supposed to be a perfect fit at a perfect time. I myself used to pray very regularly early in the morning, all by myself, up before my children get up. And now I'm finding that I need to pray later in the day because, quite frankly, my kids stay up late at night, so I'm up late at night, and I have a hard time getting up in the morning. So for this season of life of teenagers, it doesn't work. But for my season of young children, it was great. So instead of just looking at the end of January and saying, I haven't lived up to my New Year's resolution, or looking forward to Lent and saying, I'm going to wait till then to try something new, why not try something new for this season? Something to grow in our spiritual walk, whatever that might be, like I gave examples before. I'd be interested to know what maybe you could commit to for this next season from now until Lent. And then at Lent, reevaluate and see what you could do next. Sometimes I think we're too hard on ourselves, that if we can't commit to something forever, we don't want to commit to it at all. But I don't think that's what God calls us to. I think God calls us to look at our lives where they are right now in this season and say, what can I do right now to increase my spiritual walk? Thinking about what you can do to increase your spiritual walk, feel free to comment in the chat if you want to share with the rest of us. Have a great day.